has threatened a ban of Ryanair due to alleged violation of local COVID-19 regulations. 213. The Ryanair chief executive Michael O'Leary said its planes would not fly if the airline was required to leave its middle seats empty to comply with in-flight social distancing rules. 214. He said blocking the space between seats was idiotic and would have no beneficial effect. 215. Competitors. Ryanair has several low-cost competitors. Although traditionally a full-service airline, Aer Lingus moved to a low-fares strategy from 2002, leading to a much more intense competition with Ryanair on Irish routes. 216. Ryanair is a member of Airlines for Europe, having formerly been a member of the defunct European Low Fares Airline Association. 217. 218. Airlines that attempt to compete directly with Ryanair are treated competitively, with Ryanair being accused by some of reducing fares to significantly undercut its competitors. In response to My Travel Light, which started to compete with Ryanair on Birmingham to Dublin route in 2003, Ryanair set up competing flights on some of My Travel Light's routes until it pulled out. Go was another airline that attempted to offer services from Ryanair's base in Dublin to Glasgow and Edinburgh in Scotland. A fierce battle ensued, which ended with Go withdrawing its service from Dublin. 219. In September 2004, Ryanair's biggest competitor, EasyJet, announced routes to Ireland for the first time, beginning with the Cork to London Gatwick route. Until then, EasyJet had never competed directly with Ryanair on its home ground. EasyJet later withdrew its Gatwick Cork, Gatwick Shannon, Gatwick Knock and Luton Shannon routes. 220. In 2012, Ryanair also responded to the decision of another low-cost carrier, Wizz Air, that planned to move its flight operations from Warsaw Chopin Airport in Poland to the new low-cost Warsaw Magdalene Airport in Nowodwor Mazowiecki. 221. Ryanair had previously operated the route to Dublin from Warsaw but withdrew, claiming that the fees at Warsaw's main airport were too high. When Wizz Air began operations from Magdalene Airport, Ryanair began several new routes from the same airport, most of which were identical to routes offered by Wizz Air. In 2008, Ryanair asked the Irish High Court to investigate why it had been refused permission to fly from Knock to Dublin. This route was won by CityJet, which could not operate the service. The runner-up, Air Aran, wasn't allowed to start flights, a move Ryanair criticizes as the basis of not initiating an additional tender process was unlawful. 222. DFDS Seaways cited competition from low-cost air services, especially Ryanair, which now flies to Edinburgh Airport and London Stansted Airport from Göteborg Landvetter Airport, as the reason for scrapping the Newcastle Gothenburg ferry service in October 2006. 223. It was the only dedicated passenger ferry service between Sweden and the United Kingdom and had been running under various operators since the 19th century. Destinations. Ryanair's largest base is at London Stansted with 44 aircraft, followed by its home base at Dublin Airport. Ryanair operates from 84 bases connecting 35 countries across Europe and North Africa, some of which only base a single aircraft. Several non-base airports serve more flights and forward/or destinations than certain base airports. Ryanair traditionally prefers to fly to smaller or secondary airports, usually outside major cities, to help the company benefit from lower landing fees and quick turnaround times to reduce costs. Ryanair has even riffed to Bratislava Airport in Slovakia as Bratislava Vienna, despite Vienna being 80 kilometers. 50 mi away in another. Countries in which Ryanair operates: October 2022, 224, 225. Country. In some cases, Secondary airports are not distant from the city they serve, and can be closer than the city's major airport. This is the Casete Rome Ciumpino Airport. Ryanair does still serve several major airports, including Amsterdam Schiphol, Athens, Barcelona El Prat, Brussels, Budapest, Copenhagen Dublin, Lisbon, London Gatwick, Madrid Barajas, Marseille, Oslo Gardermoen and Rome Fiumicino. Some of these cities do not have a viable secondary airport that Ryanair could use as an alternative. 191. More recently, Ryanair has grown more at primary airports as it looks to attract more business passengers. In the summer of 2014, the airline opened bases in Athens, Lisbon and the primary airports of Brussels and Rome for the first time. Ryanair flies in a point-to-point model rather than the more traditional airline hub-and-spoke model where the passengers have to change aircraft in transit at a major airport, usually being able to reach more destinations this way. 226, 227, in April 2017 Ryanair added connecting flights to its portfolio, starting with a new transfer hub in Rome Fiumicino Airport, FCO. 228. Despite it being an Irish airline, it also has a significant presence in France, Germany, Italy, Poland, Spain, the United Kingdom as well as many other European countries. Currently, its biggest country market is Italy, with 14 bases and 9 non-base airports. Ryanair's largest competitor is EasyJet, which has a far greater focus on larger or primary airports such as Amsterdam and Paris Charles de Gaulle, heavily targeting business passengers. Ryanair also serves sun and beach destinations with bases in Sicily, the Canary Islands, Cyprus, the Greek islands and Malta among others. In August 2014, the airline unveiled ambitious plans to establish a major hub in Israel to service a broad range of European routes. 229. In December 2014 Ryanair announced plans to open its 72nd base in 2015 in the Azores. 230. In February 2018, due to the Scottish Government not abolishing or reducing air passenger duty, APD, Ryanair announced that it would cut many flights out of Glasgow Airport, resulting in the airline closing its base there. The only routes out of Glasgow by the end of October were Dublin, Krakow and Wrocław, with the rest being suspended permanently. This resulted in the loss of 300 members of airport staff. In April 2019, the airline reinstated 4 of its routes, to Alicante, Brussels, Malaga and Warsaw. 231. In 2022, Ryanair announced that it would close its base at Frankfurt Airport in a row over fees, with the loss of 17 routes. The 5 aircraft based there are to be based in other locations throughout Europe. 232. Top airports by destinations, only 48 plus destinations. November 2020 Airport Destinations Republic of Ireland. Dublin DUB 122 United Kingdom. London Stansted STN 95 Italy. Milan Bergamo BGY 81 Austria. Vienna VIE 77 Spain. Malaga AGP 77 Spain. Alicante ALC 75 Poland. Krakow KK 74 Belgium. Brussels Charleroi CRL 73 Spain. Palma de Mallorca PMI 71 United Kingdom. Edinburgh EDI 64 United Kingdom. Manchester MAN 64 Malta. Malta MLA 61 Germany. Berlin BER 58 Spain. Barcelona BCN 58 Portugal. Porto OPO 57 Portugal. Lisbon LIS 53 Italy. Palermo PMO 52 Italy. Bologna BLQ 51 France. Marseille Mrs 48. Top airports by destinations 2007-17, 233, City destinations retention, A, Republic of Ireland. Dublin 18573% United Kingdom. London Stansted 13269% Italy. Milan Bergamo 12465% Belgium. Brussels Charleroi 11670% Spain. Guyana 11235% Germany. Hahn 10344% Germany. Wies 9745% Spain. Alicante 9061% Spain. Madrid 8657% Italy. Pisa 8653%. Choosing destinations. When Ryanair negotiates with airport operators, it demands very low landing and handling fees, as well as financial assistance with marketing and promotional campaigns. 234. In subsequent contract renewal negotiations, the airline has been reported to play airports against each other, threatening to withdraw services and deploy the aircraft elsewhere, if the airport does not make further concessions. According to Michael O'Leary's biography, A Life in Full Flight, Ryanair's growing popularity and also growing bargaining power with both airports and aircraft manufacturers has resulted in the airline being less concerned about a marked search/demographics approach to route selection to one based more on experimentation. This means it is more likely to fly its aircraft between the lowest cost airports in anticipation that its presence alone on that route will be sufficient to create a demand which previously may not have existed, either in whole or in part. 235. In April 2006, a failure to reach an agreement on a new commercial contract resulted in Ryanair announcing that it would withdraw service on the Dublin-Cardiff route at short notice. 236. The airport management rebutted Ryanair's assertion that airport charges were unreasonably high, claiming that the Cardiff charges were already below Ryanair's average and claimed that Ryanair had recently adopted the same negotiating approach with Cork Airport and London Stansted Airport. 237. In 2009, Ryanair was reported to have adopted harsh negotiating with Shannon Airport, threatening to close 75% of its operations there from April 2010. 238. Ryanair was forced to give up its Rome-Ciampino-Alghero route, after the route was allocated to Air One, as a public service obligation, PSO, route. The European Commission is investigating the actions of the Italian government in assigning PSO routes and thus restricting competition. In 2016, Ryanair withdrew over half of its flights from Rygge Airport in Norway, after which the airport decided to close down totally, as they were privately owned and would make a loss on the low traffic volume. In some cases, an increasing number as the years pass, Ryanair has decided to use large airports where they are Reno-dominant and to pay the normal fees there. Examples include Barcelona, Oslo, Copenhagen and Manchester, which the carrier increased flights in 2021. 239. Fleet. Ryanair Holdings Group fleet size as of May 2020. A Ryanair Boeing 737-800. Current group fleet. As of March 2023, the Ryanair Group fleet consists of the following aircraft: SAD Smiley 240. Ryanair fleet aircraft in service orders passengers Operatornots Airbus A320-20029-180, 241, Norda Europe Boeing 737-7001148, 242, was used as a backup aircraft, for corporate air charters, and training. SP Rum, 243, Boeing 737-800410226189244, Ryanair largest operator. 245, 125 Malta Air 46 Bus 13 Ryanair UK Boeing 737 MAX 20095491115, 246, 197, 247, Ryanair largest operator. 248, deliveries until 2025. 249, 33 Malta Air 13 Bus total 535115. A former Ryanair 737-300 with a Continental Airlines hybrid livery. Former fleet. Ryanair has operated the following types of aircraft in the past. Ryanair past fleet aircraft introduced retired not SATA 42-300, 250, 19891991 back 1-11 251, 19861994 Convair 58019881988 operated by partner Boeing 737-200, 250, 19942005 replaced by 737-800. Ryanair sold its fleet of 2737-200 aircraft to AutoDirect Aviation LLC for $8.1 million in October 2000, and 4.6 aircraft had already been retired and the remaining 14 were transferred between 2004-2005. 252, Boeing 737-300, 250, 2002-2004 replaced by 737-800. Boeing 737-400, 250, 2004-2005 leased from Air Atlanta Iceland, replaced by. On the 30th of April, 2014. Ryanair past fleet aircraft introduced retired not SATA 42-300, 250, 19891991 back 1-11 251, 19861994 Convair 58019881988 operated by partner Boeing 737-200, 250, 19942005 replaced by 737-800. Ryanair sold its fleet of 2737-200 aircraft to AutoDirect Aviation LLC for $8.1 million in October 2000, and 4.6 aircraft had already been retired and the remaining 14 were transferred between 2004-2005. 252, Boeing 737-300, 250, 2002-2004 replaced by 737-800. Boeing 737-400, 250, 2004-2005 leased from Air Atlanta Icelandic and Air Explore, during summer 2014, 253. Embraer EMB-110 Bandeirante, 251, 1985-1989 Hawker Siddeley HS-748, 251, 1986-1990 Short S-25 Sunderland 5, 251, 1989-1989 Sunderland GBJHS was painted for it. Proposed sponsorship between Ryanair and the Foynes Flying Boat Museum, but this did not happen, and the aircraft was returned to a white and blue livery. Fleet development. Following the 2019 grounding of all 737 MAX aircraft, Ryanair initially reaffirmed its confidence in the aircraft and indicated that it would be ready to place a new order once it had returned to service. it would seek a reduced seat price instead of cash compensation. 254. In July that year, it warned that some of its bases would be subject to short-term closures in 2020, due to the shortfall in MAX delivery.